All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're a little bit more well-fed than we were yesterday. It was really a very big Kiddush Hashem yesterday, shir. And I thank all of you who made it. We had 30 Zoomers on a Nach fast, which was really a big Kiddush Hashem. Tonight we learn, and we're always dedicated by A.B. Spry, but tonight we're going to have very big kavana for Taiba Rosa Bas Hinda, who is having surgery tomorrow, and a very important surgery. It should be successful, easy, and enduring. Also great zivugim for their daughter and grandchildren. We're dedicated by Shalom Fogel, Lil Nishmas Yaakov Zeb ben Yoda Arya, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas Gad, Yosef ben Tzim ben Yaakov Zev, and for a great shidduch for Chayat Tzivya Bas Shoshana Gittel. We are dedicated by Barchia, Lil Nishmas Yaakov Chaim ben Abba, Esther Bas Yona, Avram ben Shmuel Akayna, for a Fut Shalema for Liba Bas Anya. We're dedicated for the spiritual, emotional, and physical protection of Yeshua Menachem Mendel, Ben Bela Shendel Rivka, and by Menachem Yemansky, that all those that are looking for their shidduch should find it quickly and easily, by Eddie Chazan for the safety of Klal Yisrael, for the nitzachim of the IDF, and for their safety. We are holding on Daf Mem Vav Amid Beis, and we're holding by Boy Rami Bar Chama, which is 8 lines from the bottom. 8 lines from the bottom of Daf Mem Vav Amid Beis. Again, 8 lines from the bottom of Daf Mem Vav Amid Beis. Boy Rami Bar Chama, Hamishtachav lekama schitin. If let's say, let's pick somebody random over here, Mamish, a new person. Marshall. If Marshall bows down to standing grain, Ma'ula Menachas, can he use it for Menachas? Now, the standing grain is Mechubar Karka, right? But we said that which is Mechubar Karka can be forbidden for the Mizbeach. Here, what he does though is he grinds it to use it for meal offerings, so he converts it into flour, so he employs a shinoi. And that's the question. Is there a change that allows you to use something that was worshipped? Or is there no din that because it underwent a change, you're allowed to use it? So, Amar Ma'azutra Breder Rav Nachman. So Ma'azutra, the son of Rav Nachman, says, Toshma, Kol Asurin Ligabi Mizbeach, whatever is forbidden to the altar, because 4 lines from the bottom of Mem Vav Amid Beis. Toshma, Kol Asurin Ligabi Mizbeach, whatever is forbidden to the Mizbeach, because let's say either it was sexually molested or it was worshipped, mutar, its offspring is mutar. V'tani Allah Rebbe Eliezer Isa, says the Gemara. So at this point, the Gemara thinks that the question is when it's born, it goes through a change, right? And even though it goes through a change, so the Tanakama holds its mutter, Rebbe Eliezer holds its aser. So that's the Shaila with Marshall's standing tefua that he grinds to machlokes. Says the Gemara, no. V'lavit mar Allah amar Rav Nachman amar Rav Avua, machlokes kishenirbu ulebesayf irbru. The machlokes is where it was molested, and only then it became pregnant. And the machlokes over here is a different machlokes, and that is whether zev goyim is asur or mutter. Because if the animal was molested and then it sleeps with a male and becomes pregnant, so there's a zev goyim. The mother was molested, but the father that sired it is mutter. So there is just a question of zev goyim is mutter or asur. Aval ibru b'seif nirvu, but if it was pregnant and then it was molested or then it was worshipped, divrei akol asurin. Everybody holds it's asur, even though it goes through a change. And therefore, v'hachinami over here also, where Marshall bows down to the crops and then grinds it, it's ke'ibru l'b'seif nirvu dami. It's as if it was already pregnant and then it was molested. And we see that even though it goes through a change, it's still forbidden. Ikramre. Others, however, say a different girsa. Machlokes kishenirbu ulebesayf ivru. Machlokes is where it was molested and then it became pregnant. And the question is whether zev goyim is mutter or asur. Aval ibru ulebesayf nirvu. But if it became pregnant and then it was molested, divrei akol asur. So we see that even though it went through the change of being born, it still remains asur. V'hani nami, and here where Marshall bowed down to the crops while it was attached, and then it was ground, even though it was changed, is ki ibru l'b'seif nirvu dami, and it should also be forbidden. So the Gemara says, I don't understand what you're talking about. You're comparing apples and oranges. Hachi ashta, what's the comparison? An animal that was a fetus that was worshipped, and then it's born, it was an animal before and an animal after. Just that there was a door that was closed and it opened. It was born. Hasamei kar behema. There is no change. Initially it was an animal, now it's an animal. Just the door was closed and it was born, the door was open. But hacha, there's a real change. Hacha me karachite, initially it was wheat, v'hashta kimcha, and now it's flour. So maybe that's different. Gemara doesn't have an answer to this. Boy Reish Lakish, another shayla. And Avram Zepkowitz is just joining us as we're holding 8 lines from the top of Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. 8 lines from the top of Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. Boy Reish Lakish. HaMishtachev L'Dekel. If Barry bows down to a date palm, and the date palm has lulavim, it's a palm tree. Lulavum ma'u lemitzvah. What's the din? Can you use the lulav for a mitzvah? So the Gemara says, well, it depends. Be'ilan shenotu mitchila l'kach. If it was a tree that was planted initially for idolatry, lo tibaylach. That's not a question. That's an asherah. Dafilu l'hedya nami asur. It's not only is it asur for a mitzvah, it's asur even for a commoner. The question is where the ilan was planted, then it was worshipped, so it's not so simple. Since it's mechubel karka, maybe it doesn't become prohibited, and it doesn't become prohibited to a hedyot, but maybe it's prohibited for a mitzvah. So Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that it's even prohibited to a commoner like the bayalach. He holds it's forbidden even to a commoner. Ki tibayalach, the question is, aliba the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan hold that if it was Natul b'seif avdu, if it was planted and then it was worshipped, since it's mechubel karka, it's not asur. But maybe it's not asur for a commoner, but it's asur to be used for a mitzvah. Le'inyan mitzvah mai. What's the din to use it for a mitzvah? Do we say that since it's worship, it's miyus, mima is klape gavaya? Or do we say, since it's not forbidden to a commoner, if it's not forbidden to a commoner, it's not forbidden for a mitzvah either? Ki also Rav Dimi Amar, when Rav Dimi arrived, he said that the shaila was a little bit different. The shaila was ba'ashera shemibitla kamabayle. We're talking about an idolatrous tree that a guy was mavatal. Now, when it was idolatrous, it was forbidden. But the guy could damage it and nullify it. And now Marshall gets a bargain, and he wants to know, can he use it for a lulav? He got it cheap, because it was an idolatrous shrine. He could have used it for a lulav. So what's the shaila? Says the Gemara, the shaila is because when it was forbidden, it was rejected for use as a mitzvah. So we say yesh dichui b'mitzvahs? There is a idea of rejection by a carbon, that if an animal was once not suitable to be a carbon, it's rejected, and kevin shenitcha nitcha. Do we say this also by a lulav shel mitzvah? Says the Gemara, do we say yesh dichui eitzel mitzvahs? Is there an idea, since it was once rejected, it's always rejected? Or maybe there's no rejection by mitzvahs. I made a bracha already, Rabbi Yisai.
Rabbi Weiss, can I ask a question?
Yeah, well, by the way, this man is new to the shir. Who are you?
I don't know. I'm bowing down to wheat.
What's the question?
Question is, if a shul would buy an old church property that was obviously used for Talmudic things that aren't good.
Well, what they would do is they would have the goyim be mevatel it before they buy it.
But then they have to sit and wait with it, don't they? Wait a period of time.
By the main sanctuary, Rav Moshe was machbir to wait 12 months.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
but it's nice to know to you. It's nice of you to drop in. You probably were away on a very important mission.
Yeah, a very important mission.
Yeah.
Quite occupied for the past few days.
Okay, playing marbles. Okay, anyway, Rabbi say, don't be chayshid him. He's in a tank. I think he's in the Gaza.
Pretty close. I'm in Canada.
You're in Canada?
I am.
His shirt looks like he's in Hawaii.
All right.
Well, it's a Canadian Hawaiian shirt.
Are you going to Canada? You can't come out here?
I was thinking about it, but it won't work time-wise.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so says the Gemara, Yesh dichu yetzel mitzvahs. Do we say that since it was rejected when it was an Asherah, it's permanently rejected and it can't be used as a lulav? Ayin dichu yetzel mitzvahs. So the Gemara says, Tifshet lei midisnan. Let's resolve it from the following Mishnah. There's a din by birds and animals. By birds and chayos, that when you do shchita, there's a mitzvah of kisui adam. So the din is, kiso v'niskala. If you covered the blood with sand, and then a wind came and uncovered the blood, pater. Pater melachasas. You fulfilled the mitzvah, you don't have to cover it anymore. Kiso ruach, but if the wind covered it, and chayiv l'chasas, but that's only if it gets uncovered. If the wind covers it and remains covered, there's nothing for you to do. That's only if it becomes uncovered again. If it was wind covered it and it becomes uncovered, then you have to cover it. But if it stays covered, so the Gemara wonders, but when the wind covered it, it became rejected. There's no mitzvah. And yet you see if it becomes uncovered, you have a mitzvah. But once it was rejected, it was covered, it's rejected. Papa says, this proves ein dicha yetzel mitzvahs. So here also, although the palm tree was once an asherah, but if the guy nullifies it, Marshall could use the lulav because there's no dicha by mitzvahs. Says the Gemara, no, you can't resolve it because the Papa Gufei Ibayile. We have a shaila about Rav Papa's decision that you have to do the mitzvah of Kisei Adam if it was covered by the wind and it became uncovered. Is it mifshet pshita later Rav Papa de ein dicha eitza mitzvahs? There's no rejection by mitzvahs, lo yishna lekula v'lo yishna lechumra. Not when it's lenient, not when it's stringent. He's not sure if there's dichui. So therefore, over here we say l'chumra, you should cover the blood because maybe there's no dichui eitzel mitzvahs and be machmer and covered. L'chumra amina, but l'kula le'amina. But he wouldn't say that Marshall could use the lulav because that would be a kula. Maybe l'chumra we would say that there is a dicha yetzel mitzvahs, and since it was rejected as asherah, it can't be done. So take tishbi ataretz kushis v'bayis. Now new shaila. New shaila. You know what? It's high time for me to be a mensch and welcome in everybody. As we welcome in Saba, we welcome in Eddie Chazan, we welcome in Dr. Guy, and I guess we welcome in Marshall. We welcome in A.B. Spry and Avigdor and Berish Kesselman and Mark Frankel. Mark, it's nice of you to drop in. I thought you would be back and regular, and then you disappeared again. What's going on over here? Well, now you're here to stay, right? It's early. That's the main thing. That's good. We welcome in Barry Cement, Shelley Zeitlin, Dr. Block, Shalom Fogel, Yaakov Warman, Yisrael Fisher, Rabbi Kran, Shimon Klein, Irving Fishbaum, Yitzi Fuchs, Reuven Shannet, Nachum Yemansky, Moshe Lehman, Nachman Chapler, Yitzi Muller, Ilya Shutman, Danny Vogel, Avram Rezepkowitz, Abe Arbach, and David Helfgott.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, 29 Zoomers. It's not shabby. Says the Gemara, Nu Shaila. Boira Papa, Hamashtakav Lebehema. If Mark bows down to an animal, Simra Ma'u L'Tchelis, can you use its wool? As we welcome in Mo Kushner for our 30th Zoomer of the evening. Mo, we're a little bit more than halfway down on Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. So, Boira Papa, Hamashtakav El Behema, if Mark bows down to an animal, Simra Ma'u L'Tchelis, can you use the wool for tchelis? Now, the shaila is, for tchelis for what? Is he want to use it for the big day kahuna? Tchelis d'may. Itchelis l'kahanim, if it's talking about using it for the big day kahuna, hainu boider Rami Bar Chama. That was the shail of Rami Bar Chama. Could we use the stones of a worshipped mountain for the mizbeach? Right, and we learned out a lesson from the Esnan Zoyna that it's forbidden. And eat chelis l'tzitzis, and if it's to use it for tzitzis, well, hainu boider eish lakish. That's the shaila of Reish Lakish about whether you could use the lulavim of the date palm that was worshipped, right? And we said that it's a question whether you could use it. Says the Gemara, you're right. Einachanami. It is the same question, and it would have been superfluous. And that what she asked this is because of the rest of the cases. We talk about an animal that's worshipped. Simra ma'ul l'tchelis, its wool could be used for tchelis. Karnei ma'ul l'chatzaitzvus, its horns, can they be used for the trumpets by the shira of the Levium? Shokeh, its thighs, ma'ul l'chalilin, can they be fashioned into flutes? B'nei me'er, and its guts, ma'ul l'poros, can it be used for the strings of a harp? So the Gemara says, Aliba de mandiyama ika shira b'keli. According to the mandiyama, that the main shira is with the instruments. So then, like tibaylach, devada yasir, then it's definitely yasir, right? Like using the stones for the mizbeach. Ki tibaylach aliba de mandiyama ika shira b'peh. That the primary shira of the Levium is the mouth. And the musical instrumentation is only for accompaniment. And Besume Kala Ba'almahu, there we say that since it's only a musical accompaniment, my sinon, you could use the guts and the thighs and the horns of this animal that was worshipped. O Dilma Afilu Achi Yasser, even so it's forbidden. Take Tishbi Ataretz Kushas V'Bayis. Now, this is really a wild one. This is really a wild one. We need somebody very special for this case. And I got just the man. Eddie. Eddie is my man. So, boy Rabba, Hamishtacha v'lamayon, if Eddie bows down to a spring, Meima of Ma'ul Nisach, can we use the water for the Nisach HaMayim? Says the Gemara, well, might come a what's the question? Ilaima lebavua kasagid. Do we say that he's just bowing down to his image in the water, and he likes the way he looks? Now, if he's bowing down to his image in the water, then the water doesn't become forbidden. If that's the question, then we didn't have to clear the shaila about water in the Sachem. We could have cleared the shaila when Eddie bows down to water, does it become forbidden to a hedyot? We should be able to ask the question, if Eddie bows down to a basin of water, does the water become forbidden? Says the Gemara, no. That's not the shaila. Eddie's bowing down to the water, holy water, Swami, the whole 9 yards. La'ilam lamaya kasagid. But the problem is, it's a mayam, it's a stream. So if he was bowing down to the water now that we want to take for Nisa Chamayim is not that water. That water that he bowed down to flowed away, and this is different water. So the Gemara says, is he bowing down only to the water that's in front of him? And that water flowed away. Maybe he's not bowing down just to that water that's in front of him, but he's bowing down to he's worshiping the current of water. So it's all the water. Says the Gemara, yeah, but can he asa mayim shel rabbim? Or me mitzarei? V'am Rabbi Yochanan Rishon ben Yitzadik mayim shel rabbim ein nasarin. Otherwise, forget about it. And he will go over to the Atlantic Ocean and we'll all be in trouble. He'll go to California where the Atlantic and the Pacific meet, and he'll bow down and he'll make the whole world in trouble. They'll have to lock him up. Maybe that's why he's on the run. Says the Gemara, no, it's talking about where this was Eddie's private stream. And since it was Eddie's private stream, he could answer it. Like tzricha, the nave ma'ara. This water was bubbling from his own property. So if he's bowing down only to the water in front of him, then that water is gone, and this is new water, and you can use it for Nisa Chamayim. However, if he's bowing down to the current of water, then it all becomes forbidden.
You mean that would be the same as a well?
Well, the water's not going anywhere.
And what happens to that water? You couldn't use it for Nisa Chamayim anyway.
Well, but anyway, if he would bow down to water in a well, that water would become forbidden unless we say that he bowed down to his image.
And it's not considered mechuber l'karka?
Huh?
It's not considered mechuber l'karka?
No. Is it mechuber?
Well, it's physically, it's hard. It's no different than I guess the rock. Well, okay, I hear it.
Now.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Don't do it again.
Now down to the porcelain one.
Oh, keep quiet.
Just ignore him. He's in a different planet. Now, definitely in a different continent. If Marshall is there in Canada, it's going to be a 90% tariff for anything that he brings in.
The 51st state.
Now, okay. Says the Heilige Mishnah. If Mark has a house next to a church, and the wall of his house is also the wall of the church, v'nafel, and the wall falls down, also the v'naisei, Mark can't rebuild it, because if Mark rebuilds it, then he's helping a church. He's helping to build a wall for a church. Don't look now, Rabbi Isai, but we do have 31 Zoomers with us now. So Ketzad Yasa, what should he do?
Where are we holding, Rabbi? I lost you.
2 lines from the bottom of Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. 2 lines from the bottom of Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. So Ketzad Yasa, what should he do? So says the Gemara, there is what to do. What he should do is he should go into his property line 4 amas, withdraw 4 amas, and then build. Ketzad Yasa kainei b'seich shaloi 4 amas, ubayna shaloi, and build. Now, if shaloi v'shel avodas kechavim, if half of the wall is his and half of the wall belongs to the church, so let's say the wall was 4 amos wide. Then 2 amos is on his property and 2 amos is on the church's property. Then he only has to withdraw another 2 amos, because 2 amos was his, and then another 2 amos, which is 4 amos. So nidain machza al machza. Now, avon of eitz of va'afaroi, the stones, the wood, and the plaster, the earth, that he can't identify as definitely his, he has to be chayshish, it belongs to the church. Midirabanan, it's metamin kisheretz. It's metame like a sheretz. A sheretz, one of the shmei nishratzim, is an avat tumah, and it's metame like a sheretz, but it's a sheretz is only metame b'maga. Chaim Kramer, it's very good to have you, as we just turned the page to Mem Zayin Amid Beis. And if you're looking now, Marshall, you'll see that we have 33 Zoomers, so we are getting close to Bourbon City. Yeah. Here comes number 34. As Richard Rosenzweig is joining us. Richard, it's great to have you. And Richard, we just turned the page to Mem Zayin Amid Beis, and we said that the stones and the timber and the plaster of a church is metame like a sheretz. A sheretz, one of the shmei nishratzim, like a toad, like a lizard, is metame b'maga, on contact. Shenema shaketz tishaksenu. It should be considered like a sheketz, like a sheretz. Rabbi Kiva Aimer Kenida. Rabbi Kiva says, no, it's metame like a nida. B'drabanan, that means it's metame even b'masa, even if you carry it and you're not touching it. Shenema tizreim, you should scatter it k'moy dava, like something that is impure, like a nida. Say timer like, tell it to go out. Ma nida metame b'masa. It's metame even if you carry it. Now we have a technical problem. We said Mark withdraws into his property line 4 amos and then builds the wall. Does that mean that Mark is relinquishing 4 amos to the church? But Mark's not supposed to benefit the church. So how can Mark do that? Believe me, Mark doesn't want to give anything to the church. Says the Gemara, says the Gemara, no, Mark in those 4 amos will make a bathroom. He'll put a toilet. Says the Gemara, but he can't put a toilet because he needs tznius. A Jew has to have tznius. Says the Gemara, no, the Laila. He uses it in the night when people can't see. Says Gemara, but Hashem could see. V'amar ezel tznuah, who is modest? Hanifna l'balayla b'makom shenifna b'yayim. One who relieves himself in the dark the way he relieves himself in the light. Meaning, there's halachas that when you go to the bathroom, you should only uncover yourself as what is absolutely necessary. And you have to do that in the night like in the day. Now, va'afal gavdu kimna b'kiderech, there it's not talking about a place. It's talking about the way you relieve yourself, that you shouldn't uncover more than you have to even in the night. Miu, we see tzniusa b'olam evet, that even when people can't see you, you still have to do tznius. Says the Gemara, no, the Avoda Zara Daf, he makes a latrine, he makes a lavatory for children that don't have tznius. Inami the gadurle his may be inge. He makes a toilet and he surrounds it with thorns and thistles, that there should be tznius, but this is not, he's not giving anything to the idol, and that he's allowed to do. Now, new Mishnah. Shloisha Botimhe. There's 3 levels of houses. Bayis shebanu mitchila l'avodas kechavim. A house that was initially built for idolatry. That house, harizeh aser. If a yid buys it, it's forbidden forever. Once a yid buys it, there's nothing that can be done. A guy could be mavatal it, and then a yid would be able to use it. But if the guy buys it, or the yid buys it, it's too late. If, let's say, it was a house that was built for a dentist's office, but saidu v'kaidu l'avodas kechavim, if he then plastered it or decorated it for an idolatry, v'chidesh, making something new for idolatry, then even if the yid buys it, noitel mashe chidesh, he could remove that which was added, and the rest becomes mutter. Hichnes l'soicha avodas kechavim, if the guy brought a getchka into the house temporarily, voitzia, and then he took it out, harizeh mutter, the house is permitted. Amarav, hamishtachav el bayis osrei. If you bow down to a house, it becomes us. Even though right now, as Rabbi Kranz pointed out earlier, right now the house is attached to the ground. Alma kasavar tolish ulubesayf chibrai, that if it was uprooted and then it was attached, ketolish dami. Says the Gemara, but we learned v'anan banu tanan. We learned that if he built it for Avoda Zara, which implies only if he built it for Avoda Zara, but if he bowed down not, says the Gemara, no. Banai, if he built it for Avoda Zara, it's aser afal pi shelo yishtakav alai, if he didn't bow down to it. Hishtakav, if he bowed down to it, it's aser afal pi shelo banu, even though he didn't build it initially. Says the Gemara, Ihachi, there's an extra category of a house. Ihachi, Hani Shleisha Arbav, there's a 4th category where it was bowed down to. Says the Gemara, Kaven de Le'inyan Bittel, Batel V'ishtachava Chad Kachashiv, like, whether he bowed down to it or he built it, the guy could be mavatal it, but a yid can't be mavatal it. It has the same din. Now, there are 3 categories of stone. Shalosh avonim hein. There are 3 categories of stone. Even shechotzva mitchila lebimos, a rock that was quarried to use as a pedestal for idolatry. Now, the Rishonim say that when the guy bowed down to the idol, he bowed down to the pedestal too. So that the pedestal is not a machshire Avoda Zara, it's actually Avoda Zara. So again, Even shechotzva metchila lebimus, a stone that was quarried to be used as a pedestal for idolatry, arizu asura. Saido v'kaido l'shem avodas kechavim. If he took a stone and he coated it with plaster or made designs for idolatry, then all the yid has to do is noitel mashes sayid v'kayid. He could take off that which was plastered or designed, umuteris. Hamid oleh avodas kechavim, if he temporarily put on top of a rock a getchka v'silka, harizu mutaris. So now, in explanation, Amar Rab Ami, when do we say where he plastered it and he decorated it? That's Amar Rab Ami v'ushis sayid v'kayid begufa shel. He had to put the plaster and the decoration into incisions in the stone. Says Gemara, it doesn't say that by the house. V'adum yad bayis tanan, a bayis la begufehu. You didn't put it into the you didn't etch it into the house. You just coated it with plaster, and yet umitzer. Says Gemara, bayis nami ikabeinei urbe. There's the area between the bricks that it seeps into. Says Gemara, miloy askina deshaya, that you filled the bricks, v'hader shaya, and then coated it with the plaster. So the Gemara says that's not pshat. Elikiyat mar derab ami le'inyan bittel itmar. That the guy, the afal gav the sayid v'kayid, begufay shaleven, even though the plaster and the design went into the stone itself, kinotel ma'ashechidesh, that when you remove that which is added, even though it seeped into the stone itself, shaper dami. The ma'od the same akevin shesayid v'kayev b'gush v'shaleven. Maybe it will be converted ke'evan shechatz metchila l'avodas kechavim damya, to a stone that's quarried initially for avodas kechavim, v'titzer kula, and it all should be aser k'mashmala. No. Once that which is added is removed, which even a yid could do, even though a yid can't be mavakel Avoda Zara, but if he removes the addition, the remaining rack is permitted.
Does that go for the Avoda Zara as well? If he removes the yid, removes the Avoda Zara, that was there temporarily?
That is correct. That is correct. Now, okay, Rabbi say, I just want to remind you, don't forget the new time. I'm counting on you to hound Ruvain. I mean, it's 8:35. It's a kid stuff, you know. I mean, for a man like Avigdor, it should be a piece of cake. Piece of cake.
Thank you, Rabbi Weiss. I get none.
And you know what, Barry, you could hound Ruvain also, you know? A little better.
Is he in the rehab?
Yes, he's in the rehab.
Yeah, people ask me. That's
Yeah, Barish visited him today.
okay.
Okay, Rabbi Isai, now we're going to do the Mishnah. Now we're going to do the Mishnah, Mr. Rabbi Isai.
Okay, good night.
I did tell Ruben this morning.
Good, thank you. Tell him it's not enough. You know, you take out your, Colt 25 or your Magnum 500. I don't care if you use a silencer, and show him, the business. And don't tell me you don't have one. I know better than that. Okay, all right. So let's see. Let's go like this.